Skyrim has been ported to just about everything that could possibly run it. It's on the Nintendo Switch. It's on the Amazon Alexa. It's on the Samsung Smart Fridge. I think that last one's a joke, but I'm not entirely sure at this point. Point is, if it can run it, Skyrim has been ported to it. But we've got a new system that they didn't even port for, the Steam Deck. And the question is, how much Skyrim can you run on the Steam Deck? Spoiler alert, it is the second best version of Skyrim that you could possibly run. Hello, and welcome. My name is Wolfie, and you're watching GreaterThanPie. So Skyrim on the Steam Deck. What level of Skyrim can we run? Well, let's just say better than the Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, any version of it that is on consoles. Because we can run Skyrim with mods on this thing. Not only can we run Skyrim with mods, but we can take it to an extreme that you wouldn't necessarily think we could. So first off, what version of Skyrim runs on the Steam Deck? The Anniversary Edition, which is the most up-to-date version of Skyrim, runs pretty well. And it runs on anywhere between medium to high settings without too much difficulty. Now you could move things to low because Skyrim's optimized like a trike with bottle rockets attached to it, but it will work, and it works pretty well, despite it having a yellow warning thing saying that it might not work. The only real downside to Skyrim is that you have to use the touchscreen to navigate the launcher, but realistically, it works just fine on the Steam Deck, and it plays well without any real crashes. But I've played Skyrim a million times, and Anniversary Edition does go a long way into making it feel like a completely new game. I mean, Anniversary Edition adds a ton of new quests, a ton of new armor, a ton of random stuff that was part of the paid mod system called Creation Club. But the thing is, modders take the game to a level that Bethesda would never approve of. Plus, we have incredible mods like the Beyond Skyrim team working really hard to release a version of Skyrim that allows you to travel all over Tamriel. A version that I highly doubt will be officially approved by Bethesda. Granted, you can still use it on Bethesda.net through a ridiculously large package, but we'll talk about that. So realistically, how do you mod Skyrim on the Steam Deck? Well, there's the easy way, the harder way, and then there is the way that I did it. Because there's a reason for it. So level 1 is very specifically just using the mod manager built into Skyrim. Both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 have the option to use this, and the Xbox Series X is slightly better than the PlayStation 5 because you can add custom files. There's a whole debate around that when that came out. Point is, you can use that on the Steam Deck, just as you can on the PC. You just browse it, select the mods you want, and then from there you can just install and it works. But the truth is, there are tons of mods that are not on there for very specific reasons. For example, anytime you want to use a body replacement mod, you're not going to find it on there. No, if you want to use CBBE or UNP, you're going to have to go to Nexus Mods or others in order to receive them. Now, the cool thing is the Steam Deck is an open console, which means you can actually pop into desktop mode, download the mods, and install them manually. And as long as you follow the instructions on the mod page on how to install it manually, it will work. There are a couple of caveats though. For example, Skyrim Script Extender is a bit tricky to install. You can use this method, but realistically, we're going to talk about frameworks in the more difficult section, so I'm just going to kind of gloss over that. But any mod that can be installed normally through Nexus can actually be downloaded and moved over using the desktop mode on the Steam Deck. And to locate your files, it's really simple. It's the same as doing it on Steam. You just simply go Skyrim Special Edition, browse local files. It's really straightforward and really easy to do. But you do run into an issue if you're trying to use a mod manager. Also, I couldn't get any of the tools to launch like fins or body slide, so those are a bit tricky. And that's where we go into our next, more difficult version of modding. From here, we're gonna need to leave the Steam Deck and go to the PC. At this point, we're ready to start doing some more advanced modding. We're talking SKSE, we're talking Force New Idols, we're talking body slide. We're talking anything that needs to run externally and would be easier to use with Nexus Mod Manager, which actually is called Vortex these days. So Vortex Mod Manager.
Okay, so this part's gonna be easier to kind of just explain using an overlay like this. So Vortex is a all-in-one mod manager by Nexus Mods. And the best part about it is it's purposely designed for each game that actually has Nexus mod support. So for Skyrim, these are probably some of the most popular extensions that you can add on it. You'll see Skyrim Script Extender, Body Slide, Force New Idols. These are all the most important ones that unfortunately will not work on the Steam Deck. These are a bit difficult because they use scripts and scripting that is just non-standard, and the Steam Deck really isn't looking for them. I'm sure there's a way to force it to work, but this is just going to be a lot easier for getting a lot of the more complicated mods. It will also give you instructions on how to install Skyrim Script Extender, which is not really too hard. You just got to dump the executables in there. But you can actually press this button and launch Skyrim Script Extender once you have it set up properly. Forge New Idols, this one, is important for everything that involves animations, and Body Slides is used with some of the body mods and race menu, which you probably could install.
From here though, you are pretty much set to do any armor mods, animation mods, the list goes on. And if a mod needs a custom framework, Nexus will at least tell you that it does. From here, go ahead and launch Skyrim with Skyrim Script Extender running. Make sure everything that you installed works. There are a couple of mods that I would advise against using. One, reshade mods will not work, and that's because the Steam Deck is really bad at running multiple programs at the same time. So just be warned, you don't really want to do that. Secondly, mods that make the game harder to run will of course make it harder to run on the Steam Deck. So if you're running something like a 20K texture pack, you might want to avoid that because it's going to make it hard to run on the Steam Deck, and you want to keep your frame rate rather consistent. We did use some visual overhaul mods like 3D trees and realistic water, but we can actually scale those in game once we install Sky UI, which is pretty much critical for a lot of these mods anyway. And Sky UI is awesome because it allows you to use a mod manager and actually adjust settings on the fly inside the game, which is great because I think I got somewhere around 150 mods in this load order. After testing to make sure it works, we're gonna need to do a little bit of prep work to get it onto the Steam Deck. One of the things that I personally like to do is I actually change that Skyrim Script Extender loader.exe file to the Skyrim launcher. And the reason I do that is because that way, when I bring it to the Steam Deck, I can just hit play from the Steam menu and it will just be like, okay, I'm doing it, and it will launch it. Now, there are some crazy cool workarounds to get the launcher and that working at the same time. But once you have your settings dialed in, there's really no need to ever use that launcher. Not to mention, everything can be accessed in game. So yeah, I just used it this way because it's actually the easier way to do it. And this also works on your PC. You can just click play now and it will launch Skyrim Script Extender instead of just Skyrim. Also, change the name of your Skyrim launcher to something like Skyrim Launcher-1 so that it doesn't delete it, because you may want it for future reference if something happens. From here though, how do we get it to the Steam Deck? Well, the answer is pretty simple actually. We just need to copy it over using a flash drive. We can't just stick the SD card from the Steam Deck into the computer because it actually uses a proprietary format that Windows isn't too familiar with. But we can, quite simply, just take a flash drive, put the files on that flash drive and move them over. But we are going to want to grab one extra file that is not stored in that main location but is related to Skyrim. We're going to want our plugins.txt, which we can get to by browsing our local files and navigating to Skyrim, Skyrim Special Edition. And you'll see these two text files. Go ahead and move them over to your flash drive as well, because they're going to be more important than you think, and it's mainly for ease of use. So we've got Skyrim running. We've got Skyrim running with mods. We know how it's supposed to react. Everything is working on the PC. Let's get it onto the Steam Deck. You're gonna need a dock or a USB to USB-C conversion cable, and you're gonna need to enter desktop mode. Now I know some people are gonna be hesitant to do this because desktop mode is a little weird on a console, but it's really easy to do. If you hold down the power button, you'll actually see an option for enter desktop. Go ahead and tap that and boom, you'll be in desktop mode. Now, I do recommend using a dock for this because you are gonna need a keyboard and mouse to navigate most of the time, or you can use the trackpads on the side. I've found that keyboard and mouse is just way easier. From here, we're gonna go ahead and open up Steam, go to the local files the exact same way that we did before, and then all we have to do is copy and paste the local files from the flash drive to the Steam Deck. Then we're gonna want to move these text files into the correct place. To do that, we're gonna have to go through a lot of strings to get there because it's a bit complicated. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen and I'm going to narrate it so that I get it correct for you guys.
Okay, so the string that you're going to have to go through to get here, you're going to go into the File Explorer. You're going to have to show hidden files in order to get here. But you're going to go Local, Share, Steam, Steam Apps, Compat Data. Then for Skyrim, it is going to be the digits 489830, PFX, Drive, -C, Users, Steam User, App Data, Local, Skyrim Special Edition. Once you go through all of those, you can just copy and paste those two text files right into there. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it so that your mods will load automatically once you transfer them over.
Now with everything installed and ready to go, we can literally just hit play on the Steam Deck. You're gonna see the prompt open up for Skyrim Script Extender. It's gonna take a minute to launch. I'm gonna warn you, this is not something that launches very quickly, but once it's there, you can hit continue. You should see all of your mods have loaded. You won't get any errors about mods unless you installed one that you know that there's an error on. Just keep note of those. And bam, you've got Skyrim Ultimate modded on your Steam Deck. In theory, I can do this right now with my Steam Deck. So let's find out. Okay, everything's transferred over. It should just work now. So, play. How long is that gonna take? Oh, nope, it's starting. It's starting. Skyrim Script Extender is working. It takes longer on the Steam Deck than it does on Windows. But updating, yeah, we're gonna hit no here because there's one mod that has been updated, but the DL file hasn't. I'm not exactly sure why that's the case, but it does say it specifically will work. So we gotta wait. This is like when you post a PC for the first time. Come on, Skyrim. Come on, Skyrim. And Skyrim. 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 Oh, something's working. We haven't crashed yet. There's the Bethesda logo. Skyrim's a little special. Still loading. Continue. All of my mods should just, which they did. It is working. It's working 100%. We got physics. We got mods. All right, let's open that up. MCM seems to be working. I think this is it. I think we did it. I think we've got an absolutely insane version of Skyrim working on the Steam Deck. We're gonna go into the open world just to find out because the open world is the test of time for these types of things. If it's gonna break, it's gonna break now. But it hasn't. It's still loading, it's gonna take a minute. I see an open world. I see an open world with lots of horses. Game looks like it's running well. Like really well, actually. Cast a spell. Do I have my strange runes? Yeah, I do. So we did it. We have an ultimate modded version of Skyrim on the Steam Deck. And realistically, the point of all of this was because I wanted to try. I just really wanted to see if I could do it. I personally love Skyrim. I've been playing it for years. It's been over 10 years, I think, at this point. The game is It's one that I've returned back to several times, and I've had so many good experiences modding it and doing all sorts of crazy things. But to see it running on a console the size of the Nintendo Switch with more freedom than any other console is just amazing. And the truth is, this is just crazy to me. Like, as a PC gamer who's been gaming for years, I've always wanted something this flexible. And now I have it. Not only do I have it, but it just works. Everything just works. And that's incredible. But that's where we're gonna end today, guys. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. This was a video of me just really wanting to, you know, F around and find out. And I found out, and it ain't bad. So yeah, that is where we're gonna end today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Wolfie, out.